遅いっすね、コックの兄貴。
I know. I think Sanji earned people using his name rather than just calling him Cook.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone-Faced Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Arcloid, and we're back with episode 30 of One Piece. Hey Arcloid, how about you tell us what happened last episode?
Well, we saw the end of the fight with Don Krieg. Luffy kept knocking him down and eventually almost knocked him out. And then there was some story that happened.
Some story that happened.
Well, people were talking. I don't remember exactly what they were talking about, but I think they were just commenting on how powerful Luffy was to be able to do that to Don Krieg. And then
I know, no.
that's when Don stood back up, like sleepwalking. His eyes were all white, like they were rolled up in his head, and he was like, "I'm the strongest there is. I will win by force." And then Gin just leads him away, and then they give all the Don Krieg's pirates one little boat, and they pile everybody onto it, and it looks quite ridiculous. I would not want to be one of the guys in the bottom of that pile.
No, because you'd be stuck in the boat because you have the sides of the ship, right? So you'd be on the bottom. No, I was just laughing at the insanity of give us a recap. Well, some story happened. That's about the
I was trying
length
to
of it.
remember. I mean,
Well,
I could say that about any part of the series, I guess, but
I mean, it would make the recaps a lot shorter.
would.
Well, speaking of that, I guess there's not much else to say, right?
I guess. Well, not that I remember.
All right. Well, that said, it's time we should go ahead and get into it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
So I'm pretty sure what you do is you take the 2y from one side and you move it to the other side, but inverse its value from positive to negative, thus leaving you with just x and a negative y value. But then again, I failed this in school, so I don't know. The people will be riveted by the calculus discussion that apparently just comes out of nowhere and is itself clearly not backed by 17 to 19 minutes of unaired, edited out content that won't be seen anywhere.
yes. But don't worry, folks. I experienced it all, and I feel like I got my money's worth for free.
I'm just saying, it's math you don't use in your real life. I ran a warehouse without ever using that. I ran multiple retail jobs, a managerial status, never used it. I don't know where in my life I would ever need to know that I couldn't solve with even simpler math. I'm not publishing papers. I don't need to simplify my math down to its hardest to understand version. And hell, I cover this channel with fucking spreadsheets. Ask Arcloid. I have a spreadsheet about our Patreon numbers.
You do. And I know nothing about this kind of program, so the fact that you can do all that is quite impressive to me.
And it features fucking variables. Get that. I think you'll find column B3 plus column C3 is just a different version of a variable.
I guess I could just take the effort and learn it.
I'm literally in a Discord channel specifically for Google Sheets and tips and tricks. That's how much of a nerd I am, that I'm talking to other nerds about spreadsheets.
I guess I get my spreadsheet fixed by playing Dwarf Fortress.
No. You'd be making your spreadsheet fix if you were making spreadsheets about Dwarf Fortress.
Well, all of the work orders are basically spreadsheets.
Closest I ever come to that was trying to figure out maximized production and satisfactory. If I increase my power percentage by 400%, and I divide the lines out by 5 times to this many production centers, I can reach 100% max efficiency. We're still kind of in the recap section, so that's why I'm just talking.
And I haven't answered because I'm taking your advice and reading what they're saying.
That guy on the bottom is also wearing a crown. We already
He
mentioned
looks
Panda
happy
Man.
too.
It's just that we don't cut anything out of the episode, so we keep even the recaps in so that you can watch one for one on your own. And Pearl Shield.
At least he's somewhere in the bottom.
Especially since we gotta mute most of the freaking content.
That Luffy snoring, shaking the whole ship.
Nope, nosebleed.
He doesn't know where everybody went. No to you, dumbass.
俺あいつら追っ払ったんだから今日で雑用終わりだよな。
おめでとう。
Well, I mean, if Santi
ところ
joins the
でお
crew.
前
俺は行かねえぞ。海賊にはならねえ。
Look, he's not going
ここで
to.
コックを
That's what he
続ける
says.
クソじじいに俺
No, I
の
mean, if he
手を
joins the
認めさせる
crew,
まで。
and if he saw Luffy on the Grand Line, then he would see Sanji on the Grand Line.
手が諦めてねえ。離れられねえよ。
That's an
どい
if
つもこい
that
つも頼りにならねえよ。
at this moment in the show does not seem like it's going to happen. I know better, of course, because he shows up on the wanted posters, but still,
じゃあ
right now we don't know.
まだ時期じゃねえんだよ。お前さ、オールブルーって知ってるか？
いや
Now he's sharing his dream with Luffy.
奇跡の海の話さ。
あ
I guess even after all of this, I've got nobody else new to add to the board.
Not for a while.
I just mean
So
nobody
eventually-
after the last 4 or 5 episodes has been new.
That's
The
true. We
storm
haven't-
clouds have moved away. It's a very artistic choice.
Some of these men need the uniforms. They're being jerks to the people who saved them. Just called him a Tanuki.
Well, they're doing that thing, You know? Trying to drive somebody away. Get on out of here. Don't get out.
涙こりゃ飲めねえくそまずいスープだぜ飲めねえよこんなスープ最低だ誰か水よこせてめえら一体何の真似だてめえなんざ所詮 SF 副料理長だただの古株よもう暴力で解決されんのはうんざりだぜまずいもんはまずいと言わせてもらう
I thought they said that they're the fighting cooks.
俺たちは海のコックだスープの雫一滴無駄にしちゃならん
That's
That's
impossible
very
to do.
skillful. Don't waste the soup, but you can break a dish.
It must be Greek.
キチ
I thought it just kind of flew him aside. I didn't even punch him.
Fuck you, Dad.
You're not the boss of me.
And I'll show you all through the power of interpretive dance.
Just put it right in there.
I mean, the all blue is his dream.
たくオーナーもめん
You
ど
just
くさい
think
こと
it's in the
やらせる
grand line.
なおめえの下手な演技でバレねえかおりゃヒヤヒヤだったぜおめえこそど下手な演技で俺スープおかわり俺もだ
Meanwhile, I thought they were actually really bitching about the soup because there are no chunks in it. It was just broth.
It'd still be a soup.
丸聞こえだよクソ野郎ども
Well, soup has like noodles or stuff in it.
I don't believe that's the definition of soup.
Well, soup is more than just broth, otherwise you would just call it broth,
どうなんだ小僧
Well, broth is a part of soup.
やだ
right?
Right.
But cheese is a part of macaroni and cheese, but you can, do other things with cheese.
Yeah. I don't know what your point was there.
Soup is more than just broth. Broth is just a part of the whole that is soup.
Soup, a liquid food, especially with a meat, fish, or vegetable stock as a base and often containing pieces of solid food. Often does not imply always. And meat, fish, or vegetable stock is just the flavoring of the liquid. So having pieces of solid food in it is not a requirement to being soup. Also, I love tomato soup, which has no physical item in it.
Tomato puree.
Tomato puree is something you add to food.
It's not like they could have broken the fin anymore. Panda fish?
That's one of our guys. One of Zoro's friends.
Is it Usaku or Johnny? Usaku. Where is Zoro right now? Is he still recovering?
分かった行こう
He's with Usopp and I think other Johnny, I guess.
待てよ馬鹿げた夢はお互い様だ俺は俺の目的オールブルーのために
3時
ああ付き合おうじゃねえか海賊王への道とやらに
え
お前の船のコック
You know, food would probably taste better if you weren't smoking all the time.
True, you figure a guy who gets by on how his food tastes wouldn't ruin his palate with tobacco smoke.
やった
よかったっすねルフィの兄貴
ー
やったやったコックだ
This looks like the dance of joy from Perfect Strangers.
そういうわけだみんないろいろ
Also, there's a giant fucking holes all over the Baratier from the previous day's battle.
And so it's not like the walls are actually in the way for them to not hear it.
Well, this hole was created after the fact. I just mean this place has been attacked all day. If this place has an excess of anything, it's bonus boats.
Oh, he's just giving him that. Nice.
I don't want to know what's coming up. It'll ruin the adventure for me.
Sanji's taking all his knives. Back when swords were outlawed for people in Japan, all of the sword makers were turned into like knife and scissor makers. And they would do the same things they were doing to make the swords, but in miniature, like the hamon line and the layers of soft core steel and hard jacket steel, all of that.
なんだ
Oh, here's some
どん
story.
な大悪党だろうと脱獄囚だろうと
Sure. And then when swords were illegal in Italy, they would just make knives as long as fucking legally possible.
Well, they were doing that in Germany. That's why they're called messers.
Same thing in Italy, though. They'd have dueling knives.
あ
これから忙しくなるぜ
あ大丈夫さ俺がいるんだぜ
あ く皮が厚すぎだチビナス
That's a useless book. Wines and cheese.
He's beating with his hat. I know. I think Sanji earned people using his name rather than just calling him Cook.
I have no idea what you mean by that.
I mean, even though he got his ass handed to him by Gin, he was still brave. He defended the Baratie, and then he could do shit like this.
Yeah, but I mean, so did they. I mean, they pulled out like a rocket launcher, got into their cannon boat. They did all that shit. They still refer to themselves as just cooks. That guy's a fucking monkey.
I totally miss Mr. Monkey. I was angry with him.
They've been trying to be hard this whole time. He's like treating him like a dad or something. Right here, you know? Don't catch cold. It's a very soft line amongst a bunch of whole hard lines.
It gives you a little glimpse. And well, we've already seen a lot of how Zeph here really cares for people. Sanji especially.
オーナーぜー長い間クソお世
All
話
the
にな
damn
りまし
things.
たこのご恩は一生忘れません
Sanji's got a foul mouth. I mean, I've dropped a few F bombs already, but I mean that's about the. They're going as bad as they can on this. Everybody's crying. And I will say, as Sanji was a sous chef and not just a cook, having Yosaku call him just cook is probably insulting to him. That would be like calling Chef Ramsay just a cook.
Wow, I wish.
Maybe not quite that big because Ramsay is actually a chef, not just a sous chef.
また会おうぜクソ野郎ども 日をも恐れない信念さえあれば
That's a hell of a lot more impactful than everybody else's leaving their home has been so far.
オールブルーがな
Everybody was glad to see Usopp go,
野郎どもそろそろ客が来る
even though
And
they
Zoro
just
didn't
tried.
really leave anywhere, so
Right.
other
Zoro
than his
was
backstory.
traveling. That sawtooth thing is probably significant. Is that the guy she's going after? The sawtooth nose man?
It's the name of your next RPG character.
Well, that might be a good concept for somebody
Nope.
in a
The name.
cyberpunk game. Full name, okay.
Sawtooth Noseman.
That would make a good superhero name, I think.
Well, then you live in a very unexciting world. Batman meets Sawtooth Noseman. He does taxes.
He does equations with variables and scares all the people who can no longer do them.
I don't know why that's scary. Anyway,
Somebody who can remember that for so long is
I
gotta be
feel like
formidable.
with our in-jokes here, we've probably ruined the very end of the Bronte arc.
ナミさん、アーロンパークに向かったらしいぞ。
なんだそれ。
魚人の海賊が支配するところだよ。
あいつまさか。
あの可愛さ。彼女は人魚だ。
They call them fishermen, but they're fishmen.
殺すぞてめえ。
じゃあ半魚人。
お前飯抜き。
なんで？次回ワンピース東の海最悪の男魚人海賊アーロン海賊王に俺はなる。
That's flashed by too fast when you read it.
What do you think you missed?
Well, I saw the fishman pirate, but then I missed like the name.
So I read it, but now I'm placed in doubt as to what I read because I obviously know, but at the same time, if I misspeak, I don't want to give away too much shit. So
Sorry for the position I put you in.
that's no position. I'm just not going to say anything. It's the next time on. It's not needed information. I think what we're getting next, based on that, is just what was the rest of the crew up to while Luffy was kicking Krieg's ass.
And that'll be good to see. A little flashback. They'll
I mean,
probably
don't
give
think
us
it's
an
a flashback.
exposition.
I think it's just we're going to see what they were up to. Flashback would be like, all the times the screen goes sepia tone and we see people's like what's happened like previous episodes and the next episode that we saw them. One Piece is rife with flashbacks.
And I appreciate that.
I don't. One of the major drawbacks to the show, I would say the show would probably be only 700 episodes if it didn't have so many flashbacks.
I, for one, welcome our flashbacking overlords.
Okay. Well, I mean, do you have any other thoughts about the episode or anything in it?
Well, it's good to see, how the cooks care for Sanji, and Chef Zeph does as well. But I don't know, the whole telling him your soup sucks, get out of here was sort of their way to push him towards his dream, I guess. But they could have done that better, I think. They could have really handled that a lot better, but they're tough, manly seamen, so they're probably not used to handling their emotions like that.
Sorry, there's obviously just obvious jokes to be made there, but I'm not going to.
Let the audience do it for themselves.
Right. Do it in the comment section down below.
Give us your own Seaworkman puns.
Right. Anyway. I don't know. The things I want to say are also spoiler or at least indicate towards where the show would go in the future. So I don't want to say any of those. Not even specifically about the next arc, because obviously this was the end of the Baratier arc.
Right.
So yeah, I guess everything is on you. That's everything that you want to say about this?
That's everything that I can remember that I would have wanted to say, so I'm good.
Alright, well, that is that then. So once again, I have been Theta, this has been Arcloid, we've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?